Okay.
So, Arto Sivonen.
Thanks. Commercial break is over now. Okay, my topic's like mainly handling the issue of like topic of peace, what it really means. And I'm moving more to the communication part and marketing part. And shortly, what do we normally do? I'm running an impact agency, creative agency called Mondag, and we are handling really difficult questions related to communication and marketing, mainly with the sustainable issues, but also like everything that was related to human rights stuff, which are like environmentalists and human rights activists are kind of, they should work together in the future more. And that's why we are also working with these both topics. And quite many people are asking, like, what are we really doing? Are we like commercial company? Are we like group of activists, or what are we? And it's super complicated to explain sometimes. But we just believe what we want to, I mean, we know what we want to do, and we want to work with our hearts and go into those situations like we believe that marketing and communication design can really solve something. And I totally agree with the first presentation, like design is not the core, it's not in the heart, but bad design can make conflicts. I think that's kind of the most dangerous thing what can happen. But we would love to do that good design which will help solve conflicts. But my topic today, I'm talking about a couple of projects what is related to young people. There is a Tubecon called, one event called Tubecon every year in Finland. Is an event for YouTubers. A bunch of young people are running around, like from 10 years or even younger to 18 years. And they're just YouTubers. It's a massive, and this Tubecon is spreading all over Europe right now. And then there is a one day, it's called Tubecon Industry, when old people talk to the old people, adults talk to the adults, how young people behave, basically. So industry people gather together, and that happened last autumn also. And there were a lot of people who had discussions like how young people are using social media channels. Everybody is saying the same thing. Young guys can concentrate only around 8 seconds per one message, per one social media channel. And I was like, I've been hearing this story so many times. Then this dude came in. He's a president of Vice Nordic, and he said, this is bullshit. It doesn't go this way. People, you have to build the messages what really matters. I mean, if they are doing some like documentary from Middle East, which takes like last 30 minutes, they have a bunch of people who are following them. But if you make a commercial what is related to ice cream or whatever, it's only 8 seconds. I mean, it's a matter of what kind of content we are producing. And we should stop underestimate young people and their knowledge and their will to change everything. And that's what the adults are normally doing. That's what we are normally doing. So I think I just wanted to show this because it's super important we support the actions, what is going on right now. You have seen all this different kind of news, and then you have seen different kind of influencers around social media. Like, for example, this guy called Jack Harris. It's an old screenshot. Now I think it's more than 4 million subscribers in the YouTube, but he's not the only one. There are a lot of influencers around who are using their message, their knowledge, their power to change everything. But we got an idea, like, we wanted to promote also something like not only the most active young guys have a voice. We need to help all those other guys also who normally don't know like how to have 4 million subscribers in YouTube. And we started to work with the CMI. If someone doesn't know what is CMI, CMI is an organization founded by former President Martti Ahtisaari, the peace brokers working around the world. And they have this amazing concept called Ahtisaari Days. They go in the Finnish schools and help them, the schools and with the teachers, they're helping the students to understand what the peace means. So they had different kind of like simulations, they had different kind of practices, how to handle the hard topic. Like the peace is something what you need to face every day, in everyday life, in the schoolyard, in the classrooms. And kind of I find that really interesting because we are pretty good with this, like negotiating, peace negotiating. We are well known related to this stuff, but I think we should share the knowledge to our young people also. But then we started to talk also like we should change this a bit because it's not enough like you're only in the schools. You should be somewhere else. you should be online. You should be somewhere where the young guys normally are. And you should always also like find like a big audience of the young people. Like not only, we shouldn't visit only those best schools. We should visit all kinds of, we should meet all kinds of young people. And I think the social media is something like we can use for that, in those purposes also. We started campaign, it's called Lennon's, after Mr. John Lennon, and we just wanted to find a bunch of young guys, like in the first row 15 guys, and in the second year another 15 I think, and this year around 10. And we wanted to help the young people, like we want to encourage them to find young people, not only like adults are again telling the story of the peace in the schools. We wanted to help like find those young guys to tell the same story and also help us to understand what kind of language you should use. So we had a like first recruitment campaign. This is from, I think it's from Instagram and some other channels. First clip. We wanted to test like how people react on this. We worked with the one media station, and we got like I think 200 or even 300 applications, and really, really good ones. And we started to work with the guys, and we made lots of different kind of content. We met lots of different kind of people, artists, media workers, politicians. We made content for different social media channels, content for radio stations and so forth. But also it was really important to give all the knowledge we have and all the knowledge from the people we can find, and they can help them in the creative field. And then it's super important to meet these people also, like meet important people, meet someone who they highly respect, and we can help them, we can encourage them to go forward. And after first year, one of them, Alvar Aalto, actually visited in New York, in the UN, and to give a speech out, because people were pretty excited about like what Finland is doing related to peace and young people and social media. And the social media usage is something for like in those meeting rooms in UN is something pretty new still, and it's like how you can manage to work there and how you can use the language that people will understand. And now we are running another project. It's called Salam. It's pretty new. We are working with Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Finland, and we are basically using the same methods, but of course like a way different background, different location. We're going to Kabul in the 1st of August and Erbil in Kurdistan, Iraq in end of August. And we're going to run first 2 pilots there. We found amazing networks in both countries, NGOs and co-producers and different creatives and media professionals to help us. And for us, it's pretty easy to go there compared to other nations because we are harmless. They think we are pretty neutral, so we have pretty open doors now. Even though, Afghanistan is in Kabul is really in bad situation now because the elections might be coming pretty soon, probably in November, so we need to be super careful. But we are looking for young people around in these both countries with our connections, and especially the young people who probably don't know English or probably they haven't used social media so much yet. But we want to do the same thing what we want to try to do in Finland. We want to do these things also in those Middle Eastern countries. But what do we really do is like if you read any kind of research, what is one of the biggest problems related to radicalism in for example, in Kabul and Iraq. One is lack of knowledge. It's like young people really don't know what's happening. Normal people don't know what is happening. And again, I think there's no target group called as young people. I mean, there's lots of different kind of young people in here or in Afghanistan or Iraq or everywhere. They are young, they're like young in age, and what is similar with them, probably they share the same kind of media channels or social media channels, but I think all other varies. But we need to share a lot of knowledge, everything with what we know. What is in the political system is what is happening, what is happening related to elections. Or in Finland case, the knowledge means like CMI is helping those young people to understand what the conflict resolution means, like how you can face the conflicts, how you can solve the problems. And encouragement is super important thing. It means like we are teaching them how to talk, how to write, how to be in the stage, how to use your knowledge. What kind of language you need to use comes to storytelling. That's important. Once you have the knowledge, then you need to tell the story in a way that people will understand what you're talking about. And collaboration, that's maybe the most important thing. Like we noticed after the first year of this Lennons, like we asked them, what did you learn? What was the kind of the first, like the best part of everything? They said like, we learned from each other. I was super happy when I heard this because that's how it goes. And we are now learning from each other here. This is school, kind of the school again. And this is how in professional life, how we should work in the future more, to learn from each other, because this world is changing so fast right now that everything, like we need to read the news every day and we need to bring all the knowledge that we have every day in the table. That goes in all generations. That goes also related to peace issues and in the young guys. And once you collaborate, it means also like you're not only collaborating with a group of people we are having here. It can be this Lennons or it can be we here, but also we share our networks. And it's a collaboration model goes over the walls, over the borders. And I bring my networks, all my people, all my knowledge, all my connections for those young guys. Whatever you need, I'm trying to help you. And so others do also. And I think that's a super important point also, like once we meet those guys, it's like we need to tell them like you don't need a degree to do this. And you don't need to be educated to do this. I think you just need your courage to do this. You need some knowledge, you need some skills, and we can help you with this. And I'm pretty often saying them also, like I didn't even went to the high school. I'm here, I'm teaching in university. I mean, everything is possible. And another thing is like, if you really raise your voice up, if this is like the main message for different kind of influencers when they start to show their face in the social media, don't care. I mean, you can't. I mean, of course, someone will hate you, whatever you say. If you're silent and no one says anything. Once you start to speak up, it's going to be some negative vibes also. You need to be careful, of course, and especially if you go to countries like Afghanistan, if you need to, of course, we need to help them to understand what it means, and we need to help them in that case like they're secure. But anyhow, I mean, they need to face also negative actions. And what this marketing means in a nutshell, it means like we shouldn't use these kind of peace words too many times, sustainable words too many times, nothing like this like mumbo jumbo, sustainable cities, blah, blah, what we normally use. We need to tell the stories. We need to tell stories for people to understand. And we need to define the target groups. Like I need to tell my story in different ways. It would be, this would be way more effective if I can talk to each of you personally. And especially if I know you a bit better. Because then if I know what you really like, what you really understand, I can change my story a bit and you will be like addicted to it. And probably I can take you with me. So this is super important also for the young guys to understand like what kind of stories they can use for different kind of guys. And also the testing everything. Like, and if you have an idea, if you want to do something, just go and test it. If it doesn't work, change it a bit. And this is a test also what we are doing here. And that's what I like the way, the model, what we are having here. We are testing this and changing it. Nothing is permanent. And then we should have an opinion, of course, that's like super clear and be real. And that's maybe the most important thing in social media in general, once you are like in every age, if you're using your own channels. You have to be real. If you don't know something, ask about that. If you failed, say that. If you're really good at something, say that also. Be honest, be real. And if you're really sad about something or worried about something, also say that. And be real is connected to what is fake and what is real news. And that's also what like most of the adults or different kind of organizations can help those young people to survive. Like for example, in Iraq, we are working with an organization called Tech for Peace. And they're specialized on fake news and this kind of issues like how you can really recognize what is real and what is not. And we need a lot of help from them because of course we have no idea about like social media channels in Iraq. We are learning now. Thank you. my part.